Hey guys, welcome to Chef-olution. I'm Chef NCP and today we're going to be cooking the honey rhubarb chicken with Dauphinoise potatoes and sauteed asparagus. I'm going to do this video in 3 sections. We're going to start off with the prep, followed by the cooking, and finally the serving suggestion. Let's get going. So guys, I'm just going to start off with the chicken. Let's get that seasoned with a bit of salt and pepper. And the longer that's seasoned for, the more penetration it gets. Doesn't have to be rock salt or kosher salt. Pat that. That's enough. I've got enough on the board here to penetrate the underside. Lovely. Just going to leave that to one side. Next we're on to the potato. Just simply peel this. And then onto the slicing. If you guys got a mandolin, that'd be great, but obviously if you don't feel comfortable using a mandolin, for obvious slicing reasons, it can be vicious. Just use a knife. Slice off that top bit and go as thin as you can. The thinner you can get it, the quicker it cooks, and not only that, but the more layers you can get in there. So it has a beautiful cross section in your Dauphinoise potatoes. Just take your time with it, guys. I was trying to rush there. Just get nice glides. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just nice, thin slices of potato. When you get to this bit, if you feel confident, you should have more than enough potato there for 2 portions, but I just want to be sure. Today I'm just doing a half recipe for cost effectiveness, as this is just a demonstration. And I'm going to keep this submerged in cool water. That'll stop the potatoes from browning in the oxygen. And just leave those to one side. Next I'm going to move on to the rhubarb. Just check the dry ends, make sure that there's it's nice and moist. We don't want the dry ends in there. Just slip these off. There we are. And then we've got fresh, nice strands of rhubarb in there. This rhubarb today, guys, is an outdoor rhubarb, which means it's not forced. So these take a lot longer to cook. But that's fine because we're going to be reducing and reducing. This is going to be cooking for quite a long time. It's going to go in the oven and then it's going to be reduced into a sauce. And I want some nice small dices. The smaller the better, guys. Obviously that reduces your cooking time. The longer this cooks as well, obviously the stronger the flavour is going to be. So I'm just going to go into the tub with that one and leave to one side. So we got 1 garlic clove here, that's half recipe. I'm not going to cut it in half. So we just got 1 garlic. Just simply crush it, put it to one side. That's going to go in with your milk and cream for your Dauphinoise potato. And then next onto your shallots and garlic. Just peel the skin off, snip away the top, we're going to go in for a dice. Just nice, careful strides. I had a chef that taught me how to do this properly when I was a commie chef. Just, if you can imagine this, rotation, like so, you get nice glides, and as you get more comfortable, you start getting finer and finer. And then I'm going to go through like so. Watch your fingers, guys, if you're doing this. If you don't feel comfortable, just go for it and slice straight through. I want some nice dices, nice small fine dices. Shallots are also a great way to practice your knife skills, guys. Because they're small, your knife is more forgiving, so you don't run the risk of going above your knuckles. And so you can just get really nice low to the board and get your hands, your guide hand, more comfortable to guiding that knife. Garlic, this one's going to be peeled. Garlic cooks a little bit faster than shallots, so I'm just going to, they don't have to be terribly fine. Just some nice cubes. This is all getting blitzed up together, so it doesn't need to look beautiful, you know. Next, I'm going to show you how to prep the asparagus spears. Simply start by taking these dry woody ends off, and then I'm just going to peel and rotate. Beautiful spears. Next I'm going to go on to the garnish. This is going on at the end of the dish. Spring onions are really sweet, less pungent, perfect for garnish. Just snip away that root end. I'm going to do it on the bye, and I'm going to take off about that much. Create some nice fine rings of spring onion. Don't give up on the white bit, guys. That is probably the best bit of the spring onion. So much flavour in there. I'm just going to separate these rings, so when this falls onto the dish, you've got some lovely rings of spring onion. And it's going to look beautiful. So I'm just going to go into a little ramekin here, keep it in the fridge so it doesn't wilt. Same with our cheese, just going to keep that in the fridge until later, just to finish off the Dauphinoise before it goes into the oven the second time for gratination. Straight into the fridge. We've got our bay and our thyme. We're going to be using that straight away. That's going into the pot with our cream, honey for our sauce, mustard for our sauce, cream, milk for the Dauphinoise, and finally soy sauce for our honey rhubarb sauce. Nutmeg into the milk and cream for the Dauphinoise potatoes. And that's it, guys. On to the cooking. So guys, we're going to start off with the cream and milk infusion for the Dauphinoise potatoes. So I'm just going to go straight in with my milk, cream. This is equal parts milk and cream. In with your garlic, bay, thyme, a little bit nutmeg, pinch, and pepper. Salt and pepper, guys. It's going to help season the potatoes. Just stir that, bring that up to a low temperature. Start on a low temperature, and I'm just going to let that slowly infuse. And that way, guys, you don't end up with your milk and cream bubbling over. Next, while that's infusing, we're going to move on to the chicken. I'm going to get this oil smoking hot, so I'm going straight up onto the high heat. And in with some oil. Not too much, because you want a nice crispy skin. While that's heating, it might be a good time to get your oven on now, preheated to 180 degrees centigrade. Just keep your milk and cream on a low heat, and as soon as you start seeing the steam coming off the cream, you know that's fully infused. Just let it sit there for 10 minutes. Don't need to worry about it. Be cool. Good way to find out if your oil's hot enough, just splash a bit of water in there. When you can hear a big crackle, you know that's hot. There we are, guys. That's all I want to hear. I know that's super hot. I'm happy with that. When I go in with this chicken, I'm expecting a nice big crackle. There we are. Just get that skin nicely coated in oil. Because if your pan's like mine, it sits around the sides. And again, just allow that to coat itself in oil. Electric's super hot, it takes ages to cool down, so I'm just going to turn my temperature down just a little bit so my skin doesn't burn. I think that's been about 30 seconds, guys. Gonna have a little look. A little bit longer. Doesn't have to be super crispy just yet, because it's going to go in the oven and it's going to crisp up further. Just want a nice colour going. Get it started, and also then you've got the flavour of chicken in your oil and in your pan, ready to deglaze. Another 10 seconds on that, guys, and that's going to be perfect. I'm not going to cook this chicken on the other side, because what I'm going to do is it's going to braise and keep all that moisture. And if I seal this side too early, none of the flavours from the braising is going to go straight into the, is going to be absorbed by these chicken thighs. This is the best cut of meat, in my opinion, with the bone in. That keeps it nice and moist. You don't get any overcooking. There we are, just turn that over, place in the bowl. Just going to show you the colour of my chicken there. That's what you're looking for. Just nice, golden, perfect. Leave that to one side, guys. I've got a little bit too much oil there because obviously the fat's dripped into the pan. I'm just going to strain a bit of this oil off and start sauteing my shallots. And garlic. Do not wipe this pan clean You've got lovely chicken flavours in there. I'm on a lower heat now on electric. If you've got gas, it's a lot more easier to control. But if you're like me, I'm eco-friendly. So I'm going to go in now with my shallots and garlic. Immediately, lovely, fragrant onion, sweet onion smell. Just give that a little toss. Garlic cooks super fast, so you want to keep it moving. I'm just going to go in with a little pinch of salt. If it is overcooking, just go in with a little bit of oil. That'll cool it down, and that'll prevent anything from catching. Next, just going to take it off the heat because that is super hot, guys. This is going to cool it down. In with my rhubarb. Start getting those flavours going. My frying pan's got a metal handle, so I'm just going to deglaze my pan with a little water. And this frying pan is suitable to go straight in the oven for the braising. So I can put my chicken straight on top of this, fill it up with water, and go straight in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. Give it a probe. Check the temperature. Going to try and reach about 70 degrees. Residual heat will take it up to about 75 when you're resting. This dish is quite forgiving on the chicken, obviously because your braising is very moist. So even if you're slightly overcooked, still going to have that moisture. So what I'm going to do now is go in with my soy sauce. This is a light soy sauce. And my honey. Stir that around, give it a nice stir. And I'm going to go in with a tiny pinch of salt. That's just going to help control that honey. If you got some brown sugar, guys, it's a good idea to get some brown sugar in there. But I'm quite happy with the honey. Just get a nice even spread around the pan. And back in with your chicken. Just rest that on top of the rhubarb mix nicely. A little bit of a distance. Loving tender care. So from this point, guys, just fill up with water. Careful not to touch your crispy chicken skin, and that will create super moist, perfect chicken. If you're using a baking tray, a deep baking tray, pour your contents into the baking tray and place your chicken on top. When you're filling with water into the baking tray, be careful not to touch your crispy skin. Right, that's it. Let's go straight into the oven now on 180 degrees, middle of the oven. And I'm going to come back to that in about 30 to 40 minutes. And now I'm going to pay attention to my cream. You can see that there, guys. You can smell it. It's beautiful. There's the steam coming off the cream. And because you're on a low heat, you've not burnt the cream. It's perfect. Next, guys, I'm just going to strain off my potatoes. They're still submerged in water. Just give them a little shake. There's no residual water in there. So we've got our Dauphinoise potato. So just go around your casserole dish. With your ultra thin potato. Give your cream a little stir and just cover that first layer. Strain and start again. favourite potato, guys. Dauphinoise potatoes. They're just the best. There we are. Looking big for one portion, eh, guys? And again, back in with my cream. Just make sure that's fully submerged in your milk and cream. Slight little push down. Don't worry if a bit of pepper comes through, that's great, it's just going to season. Lovely. In fact, I'm going to go in with a little bit of pepper. That looks beautiful. I've got a piece of parchment here, guys. That's going to keep the moisture in there and help cook the potatoes. Don't have to be perfect. Just press in onto the top, around the edges, and that allows the steam to come out, the juice. That's going to go in the oven for about 45 minutes on 180 with the chicken on the middle shelf. And we'll come back to that in 45 minutes. Next, guys, I'm just going to take my probe. Chicken's been in for about 30 minutes now. Should be perfectly cooked and moist. A lovely word. Just going to go in with my probe just to double check. See if this comes up to 70. As soon as it comes to 70, I'm on 69, 71. It's done. You're ready. You're safe. Good stuff. Just take that out of the pan onto a clean bowl and leave those to rest. Now with your sauce, careful with the pan, guys, it's going to be really hot. Obviously, if you've got a frying pan suitable for the oven. If you haven't, you would have done all of this into a deep baking tray. Just give that a little stir around. Take your blender, guys. Just pour that contents. You've got all that chicken flavour, rhubarb, honey. Don't worry if it's a bit runny, guys, or it's a bit loose. Too much fluid. We're going to bring this down and reduce it. So I just want to blitz this into a really fine, smooth consistency. Put back into the pan to reduce. Start with a pulse. Pour that straight back into your pan. If you haven't already gone in with your sugar, now would be a great time. That's going to help caramelize and become really sticky. We're going to have a lovely sticky honey rhubarb sauce. If you do have any lumps still in there, guys, don't worry, we can strain them off or serve as is. I'm going to stir in my whole grain mustard now. The reason why I didn't put that in there with the blender is because then I blitz together all these lovely grains of mustard and I don't want that. Stir that together. Lovely. Beautiful. I'm going to turn that up to a high heat. You know that's good, I've gone in twice. Check out that chicken, guys. That is exactly what you want. Perfectly cooked chicken thighs. Beginning to bubble now, guys. So be aware, if you're on electric like me, turn your heat down now. That's going to stay on super heat for a lot longer than a gas stove. Those bubbles are starting to subside a little bit now, so I'm happy to go back up to a medium high and just reduce that sauce right down till you have a nice sticky consistency, and you've removed almost all of that water. You're left with this rich rhubarb tart sticky sauce. You don't want any of this to catch, guys, so just keep an eye on it. Stay over it. It smells absolutely delicious. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to know when this is done, when these bubbles start forming these really big, glossy domes. Lots of activity going on in this pan. The sugar, the honey, the mustard, combined with the cream of the Dauphinoise potatoes. Just gonna have a lovely glossy sauce. Just keep going, guys, keep going, keep going. It's gonna darken, not too dark obviously, because I've only used a light soy sauce. Don't season your pan too early, because as this reduces, it's going to get stronger and stronger, and then you can season to taste once you've got the desired effect. That sugar, that honey is really activating in there. We're forming some caramel. The water's almost gone. Bring it into the middle. Lovely. If you've got a knob of butter right now, just go in with a small knob of butter. Beautiful. Just keep going, keep going. Don't worry, don't panic, be cool. Getting there, guys. I'm really happy with this now. I'm just going to take that off the heat. A lovely, rich rhubarb and honey sauce with a lovely hint of whole grain mustard. Go down a little bit further. Really get rid of all that water. Let's give it one last blast. Just in time for the Dauphinoise potatoes to come out of the oven. Smells are just phenomenal. Gorgeous. I'm happy with that. Just in time for the Dauphinoise potato. Now that's been in there for 45 minutes, guys. It's looking beautiful. Just take my cheese, my sharp cheddar cheese. I'm going to go in. I'm going to put that back into the oven for a further 15 minutes and allow that to gratinate. Leave it to rest for 10 minutes and we're ready to serve. Check out that sticky sauce. You could hold that above your head and it's not coming out. So I've got my boiling water up to a rolling boil. I'm just going to add a big pinch of salt, season that water, and go straight in with my asparagus, making sure they're fully submerged. And they're going to cook for about 3 minutes, just in time for my Dauphinoise potatoes to come out. We're going to cook these off, strain them, and go straight into our pan with a little bit of hot oil and begin to saute with our garlic, a little pinch of salt and pepper. I'm happy with that, guys. Perfect Dauphinoise potato. In with my blanched asparagus. That oil's crackling like that because it's just got a little bit of water on there. Don't panic, be cool. Already got a nice colour on those spears. I'm going to go in with my garlic and a little pinch of salt and pepper. Save that garlic just by adding a little bit of cooler oil. Look at those. Beautiful. And that's everything you need for your dish, guys. Next, on to the serving suggestion. So guys, we're on to the serving suggestion. Just cut down half of your Dauphinoise potato. You'll have twice as much in your casserole dish. This is just a half portion. And simply just go down the side of the dish, releasing the Dauphinoise potato. Let's get a little bit of that flavour. And just slip your palette knife. Don't worry if it crumbles. The flavour's all in there, guys. And just layer that slightly off centre into your dish. Besides that, guys, we're going to go in with our braised chicken thighs on top. With 3 spears of asparagus. We finish off with our rich rhubarb and honey sauce. Just spoon that over the chicken and asparagus. And just let it fall. And just finish this dish with some nice, just as it falls, spring onion. Beautiful. And there you have it. And there you have it, guys. Chef Aleutian's honey and rhubarb chicken with Dauphinoise potatoes and asparagus. Yes, chef.